Welcome on into another video, everybody, and today we are going to be doing a couple of things. We're going to be covering the upcoming Libra Cup and our team that we will be building. Now, in the future, and by future, I mean in the next couple of days, since it's coming up very fast, I believe at the moment of recording this video, we're looking at only 22 hours before registration begins. So we're going to be doing a lot of live stream training for our Umas in this Cup Champions meet scenario. So to break down what we're looking at, the Libra Cup is going to be a doozy. We're looking at a 3,000 meter race. It's a long race, right outer, fall, sunny, and firm ground. So now, for the majority of our racers, firm, sunny, fall, right, outer, these are not going to be very negative for any of us. However, this 3,000 meter is, and not only a 3,000 meter, but it has a early uphill. It actually starts on an uphill incline, as well as a late uphill. Late in the race, we're doing another uphill, meaning there are going to be certain skills that are better and certain skills that are worse for this Champions meet. Highlander, for instance, is noted as a useful, early acceleration or late accel, depending on where it activates. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of RNG in reference to that. However, I am going to be trying to get Highlander on my end closer that we're going to be using. We're going to be shooting for a Narita Taishin this time around, since we were able to scout her. And ideally, she can proc that really early, or as early as possible. So we'll see how that plays out, but our main ace is going to be our Matikani Fukuki Taru. We have actually one other ace we're going to be using, but we will get into that in a little bit. The other thing to take into account with this race is that because the final straight is so long and the final corner is all the way back here, certain skills that a lot of front runners have are going to be difficult. And frankly, it's going to be very difficult on front runners in general. The redshift and shooting for victory are going to be unusable. Every character will already be at max speed by this point in the race. However, our Saiyan Skies still have the opportunity to hit angling and scheming around this final corner, although there is going to be so much room for the late surgers and end closers to catch up at the end that it won't be quite as feasible as it has been in the past. We're going to see a lot of end closers this time around. There are going to be a flood of gold ships and Narita Taishins. Depending on whether or not people have scouted them, I expect to see quite a bit of gold ships. The remainder of the race, the early race being that it starts on an uphill, is going to be a little bit difficult. Make sure that you have your speed and power up, and we will be going into the stats that we're looking for here in just a little bit, and then the standard distance of the race throughout these corners and straights. It's going to be very important that we have enough stamina to keep our positioning for our racers and still have enough left over for our final spurt at the end of the race. This late race area right here, beginning at the end of the final corner, or the beginning of the final corner, end of the second to final straight. The final straight is technically going to be the end. So what does that mean? There's a lot of numbers, a lot of random blurting out of stuff there. What are we actually looking for? What are we aiming for? What is going to be successful? Well, stats are going to be everything, but skills are going to be very important too, just like in any race. I mean, that's not exclusive to the Libra Cup by any means. However, they're going to be much more important this time around, because since it is a significantly longer race than we've done recently, that means we'll be on the track more, which means we have more time to proc our skills, which means our competition has more time to proc their skills too. So being able to get all of our skills off and having the stamina to complete this race is going to be huge. There have been a lot of champions meets in the past where we have builds that absolutely crush it, but maybe they had higher stamina than they really needed, or higher guts than they really needed, and they would have won either way. So the reliance on stats that we're looking at here is just significantly higher, and I believe it's going to be difficult. We're going to see a lot of really, really crazy builds. Some of these people out there that I've seen that have managed to get SSs and speed, stamina, and power on their builds are naturally going to have the advantage, but we can still rely on good pairings for our matches and doing enough repetition for our careers that we're able to pull off the stats that we're looking for. So our ace, we are going in it for the fun here. Our ace is going to be Matikani Fukukitaru. Now, if you have looked at any guides or if you have looked at any stats that break down what we are looking at for this Libra Cup, you might be thinking, why the heck are you going with Matikani Fukukitaru? There are so many racers that are ranked higher than her. Well, I'll tell you why. I do not have fantastic stamina sparks, and I don't have very good support cards either. So I figured, why waste my time doing, 800 runs with Symboli Rudolph or Top Gun or Gold Ship, who I have a little bit more difficult with their careers to get their stats to where I want them, just to have a character that is going to be considered a little bit better, even though I'm going to be going up against just absolute beasts during this Libra Cup, when I could pick a character that I am confident in my training abilities for, also that I really like her career for. Matikani Fukukitaru has a very fun career, very fun Uma to train in my opinion. So at the end of the day, it's still a game. I'm here to have fun, so I'm picking her. I believe on the tier list, she was thrown in B for the Libra Cup, but she does have a long aptitude of A. She does have a late surger of A, and she does have stat increases of 20% to stamina and 10% to strength, which in my opinion makes her a decent competitor. I think we can pull it off. I think we can pull off a win, at least one win with her. And as long as you're having fun, that's what really matters. Prioritize the stats over the Uma, because realistically, if you aren't going in as a super competitive player that is nailing first places in 4 out of 5 races consistently, it's going to be more of a game of matchups depending on who you get seated with, and less of a game of, oh, is my Super Creek gonna get lucky this time? So this is what we're going with for our legacy cards. If you have legacy cards that give you good stamina, now is the time to use them. Anybody who watches my channel knows that I do not, so I will be borrowing this Ogre Cap. And after we finish this build, I am going to do a full run through with her as well. I'll skip ahead. It won't be an entire full like we do with the A-Rank guide, so, stretched out to 40 minutes or so. So I'll cut it down, but we'll be able to see a full run through on how this plays out. For our veteran Umamusume, I don't have very good options. So I think our best option that I have is a Super Creek, but I'm going to scroll ahead, make sure I pick the right one, and I'll see you in just a second. As it turns out, my best option right now is actually a Narita Taishin, which is fine by me because Narita Taishin slaps. I really enjoy training her, even though she is an absolute nuisance to train. That being said, I do have a skill hit for Nemesis for her. She does give long sparks, which is going to be amazing if we can get that up to an A. Unfortunately, I don't have any other long sparks, so, it is what it is. You make do with what you got. It's very possible for us to get Turf Sparks up to S as well, but, RNG, we'll see how it goes. This is kind of a split for what I would do with her, but keep in mind, Matikani Fukukitaru, 20% increase to stamina, 10% increase to power. So we're going to be able to get these up pretty high. Depending on your split with your Uma that you decide to train, you might want to alter where these sparks lie. Obviously pick the ones that give you the highest bonuses, and it's even better to stack because that will ultimately give you less training in that stat. I like to stack as many points on whatever of the top 3 skills, speed, stamina, power, I think I'm going to have the hardest time training. Speed is going to be easy because we're going to be borrowing a level 50 key to some black. So right now, I think with our support cards we'll be choosing, power is going to be the most difficult to get up, which is why I'm going with the 75 in power. I got stamina as my backup because naturally we want our stamina as high as possible during this run. Regardless of who you choose, definitely throw some into stamina. You really need stamina for this. I'm saying over 1,000 in stamina to be, you know, a regular competitor. Over 900 to maybe get a little lucky. We can go over the skills to purchase at the end to make sure your 900 plus character will still be able to have a fighting chance. For our support cards, we got our Matikane Fukukitara build right here. And yes, that is right. You are seeing what you are seeing. We are going with a 3-speed, 3 stamina deck. And I don't know why I have you selected when I have Super Creek. There we go. 3 speed, 3 stamina. No wonder I wasn't getting Swinging Maestro in my past playthroughs. Well, I feel really dumb now. Key-to-Some Black, obviously, insane speed bonuses. We don't have any Legacy Sparks going into speed, so we're going to want to crank that up as much as possible. And then just my other 2 best speed cards. If you have other pairable speed cards, say like a Narita Taishin that we have here, you might want to use them depending on the skills they have to offer. If the skills are relevant to your runner, go ahead, give them a shot. Unfortunately, this Narita Taishin does not have a special priority bonus, meaning the likelihood of her landing on a actual speed training as opposed to my King Halo here, who has a special priority. I think it's 60. It's really high. Of 60, yeah, significantly more chance of landing on speed for that rainbow training. These are just my 2 highest ranked speed or stamina cards besides Super Creek, which we are using in hopes of getting Swinging Maestro. Key-to-Some Black can also give Professor of Curvature, Extra Tank, Corner Recovery. It's just a list of phenomenal skills that we're definitely going to be using. So build your deck accordingly. You know, if you're training a late surger, you're training a end closer or pace chaser, and you have a really good selection of support cards, pick the ones that are going to give you bonuses in those aptitudes. I almost said skills, but it's aptitudes. So now we're going to go ahead, get this started, and these are the stats that we're aiming for. We're looking for 1,200 max speed, over 1,000 stamina. I'm actually aiming for over 800 in strength, and I would like to have around a 700 in wit. That's just my opinion, but we'll see how it goes. And we didn't need it, but we got A in Pace Chaser, and that makes me happy because high aptitudes, regardless, maybe we'll be able to use her for something else and, you know, throw her into team trials or something like that. Normally, I don't like training wit as my first one, but we are going to be doing it this time around because we got a triple speed stack on wit, and that's going to help with those friendships. We could go for the triple stack, but I want to make sure we're not missing out on our staminas here. And getting a stamina with Super Creek on it is going to be extremely beneficial. At the same time, we also want to make sure, unlike a lot of careers where we're just aiming to get Swinging Maestro from Super Creek, we really want to be getting her maxed out as soon as possible. Triple stack, stamina, taking it home, and getting McQueen up. McQueen and Super Creek are going to by far be our most difficult cards to get up to Rainbow Training, unless we get a little bit lucky, but we'll... You never know. You never know. Let's do wit here. We can get some of that energy back. That 15 bonus at the end from Director Akikawa is going to be huge as well. So we want to make sure we're taking advantage of that if at all possible. We've gotten pretty lucky with the ability of getting her up to max friendship just by doing careers because, you know, she lands on a lot of them. And usually, if you get a little bit of luck on your side, you'll be able to pull it off. There we go. Another Akikawa with our 3 speed cards. I hope we get as lucky with those 3 speed cards late game. That would be phenomenal. I am putting all of my dialogue options as well into one of 3 things. Speed, mood ups, or we're also looking for energy recovery. We can go wit with Super Creek. Now we are headed into our debut, so I am going to want to do 1 speed training before that. The debut races, as everyone knows, are usually pretty easy to nail a first place in. At the same time, we want to make sure that we at least get 2 speed trainings before then. It just really increases the ability for us to nail the first place. And having to redo a maiden race on a career training that you're doing for a champions meet is not a good early game sign by any means. So, you know, do with that as you will, but I highly recommend getting at least 2 speed trainings before your junior debut. Stamina and wit, baby. Gonna be a good power training there. We've been getting a lot of triple stacks, which is nice. That means a lot of our support cards are kind of raising their levels around the same amount. Obviously, our Kitasin Black, our King Halo, who are both maxed, are going to just start out with higher initial friendship gauges, so they do have the slight edge, but we've been getting a lot of Super Creek slipped in there at the same time, allowing us to get her friendships up at the same time. At the same time. At the same time. Okay, there we go. And now we're doing another wit. That's a good time for a wit. This is a good time for a rest. Energy's low. We're not risking it. We might take a little higher chances, you know, because it is training for the champions meet. I'm pretty comfortable doing anything that's decent under like an 18% failure risk. But that's just me. Whatever you're more comfortable with, just know that if you do take more chances, you might have to redo the career because it could lead to a debuff that bricks the career. But, you know, if you got the time on your hands and that sounds like something you can do, go for it. Take as many chances as possible. I would be so happy to be comfortable doing careers that I risk, you know, 30% or lower, but I record so much I can't risk it, especially with the dialogue, man. You have no clue how difficult it is to record the same video over and essentially say the same thing like 3 times because you make one mistake. Oh, I hate my life. I'm just kidding. All right, so we got 7 turns until our spring stakes. 20%, let's take a rest. No rainbow training means a good time to recover. That's perfect. A 33, and we got the Super Creek up to green. Good start so far. Bulging Bag's gonna give us 20 energy. If you also like Matikane Fukugitaru, I highly recommend giving her a shot for one of these champions meets because she's pretty well-rounded and you can kind of build her for whatever. Obviously, you can build anybody for whatever, but a lot of the champions meets have been medium or higher. So it's just, you know, kind of a universal, useful character that can be thrown in there. And let's get our energy back. And you respect her a lot. Give us that stamina. I love how trash talking makes you get guts points. Don't trash talk your Umas, guys. Oh, and then we're gonna get a little bit of energy back, yeah. Going for energy here. And we can hold off for that. We do want a little bit of speed for the spring stakes, so let's go ahead, do that training there. I know we might get a good rainbow training this next turn, but we are going to have to race because we need 700 fans. Oh, I should have checked that out beforehand. Whoopsies, hopefully we can pull off 700 fans. Oh, we don't have the mile. Okay, 3rd place. That should be 700, yeah? Yeah. Oh my God, it was 793. Oh, that was closer than I would have liked it to be. Far, far closer than I would have liked it to be. All right, Nakayama, we also do not have the mile aptitude, but that is completely fine. We should be okay. 2nd place, good by me. All right, give me those skill points. Moving on, 3 turns before the Japanese Derby. Stamina was looking decent for the Japanese Derby. Let's see if we can get an S aptitude here. Gold. Gold, lovely. Pace Chaser. Well, we're officially Gold Pace Chaser. So that happened. I mean, if we can get her, yeah. We might use it. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, we're doing a training this round because that is too good a training to not do, and then we'll do a race next turn. They got King Halo and Super Creek, I think, up to rainbow training. It's just McQueen now, if I'm not mistaken. Go in for a race, and we're going to do the Kyoto Turf. Actually, we'll do the OP because we only need 729 fans. This can give up 2,000, and we have major bonuses from our support cards. It's another 2,900 in the bag, and we're going to be looking nice and creamy for the Japanese Derby. I would apologize, but that ain't me. Moving on. All right, Tokyo Turf. Japanese Derby should be a cinch to get top 5. Yep, 2nd place. Good by me. We'll take the stat increases and 55 skill points. Now, I am watching. Hopefully, we're going to get lucky and be able to pull off the Swingy Maestro with Super Creek and the Professor of Curvature from Kitasin Black. Time for a rest. The Kikukusho is actually the same distance and almost identical in racing, whatever you call them, ups and downs, distance conditions, you know, as the upcoming Libra Cup. So it's a good one to kind of test your mettle on. Obviously, everybody's going to have builds better than what we're up against for the Kikukusho. So it is what it is, whatever. 32, we'll take it, and that'll get McQueen where we need her. Here comes the dialogue option, and we're probably going to do a wit training, actually, if we can get a good stack. Yeah, let's throw 15 into wit. We're going to need to rest anyway, so I might as well take the increased wit points from being at the beach training there, take a good rest, and we can get 2 solid turns in. And there's Professor of Curvature. Perfect timing, right before the Kikukusho. Let's do a speed training. Our stamina's decent. 500 stamina should be enough for the Kikukusho. So we want a guaranteed speed training there. And then hopefully we get a good card stack here. We did not. So we'll throw that into speed once again. And by Professor of Curvature. There it is. And we were able to pull off 3rd in the Kikukusho. That is fine because we are still stat maxing. And we got a long way to go. 23 is okay, but I'd rather get the energy back and save it up for those double stacks, which we're not getting. What the heck? All right, time to do a speed training. We got pretty good energy. Guess we're doing another speed training. Got 3 and 3, and we're not getting any double stacks. What the hey? And there's Swinging Maestro. Absolutely brilliant. We'll do another speed training, max out those 2, almost max out those 2. Gonna have to take a rest here. Barbecue for 2, give us that 30 energy. Now's a good time to do a double stamina training for our 36 points. Awesome. And Bushel Carrots, that's gonna throw our mood up. Excellent. You got that Mati luck, hell yeah. Double speed stack, served up on a platter. We'll take that. We'd like to get those up to 5. But we haven't been getting very good stacks, so we got to make do with what we got. Time for another wit training before the Kinko show. And we'll take some carrots. There we go. Give us all of that energy back. That's breath of fresh air. We should be completely fine for the Kinko show, but we are going to be... Nope, not that one. Oh, we don't have enough. We don't have enough. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess we'll wait until we have enough points to buy Swinging Maestro. 2nd place. She's nailing everything but first. But that's okay, Marky. We still love you. Don't look so sad, our kawaii starry-eyed girl. Wit training, heck yeah. Perfect time to get wit up is when you don't have rainbow training. And I take that to heart. Here comes our inspiration. Another S. Another S aptitude, maybe. S long, S late. Dang. But we did get a 60 and 38 split, so I'm very happy with that. Double stamina, heck yes. We really need some better speed stacks. We're getting good staminas finally, so I'm happy with that. Early lead, not really one we're gonna use, but I won't complain. Another stamina, and we get a Super Creek event here. Home stretch chase. Okay, that's a good one. I will be using that. We'll get some of that energy back, and we might have just enough to do another turn after this Takarazuka Keenan. Ooh, 40 skill points. Heck yes. Give them over. Hand them over and passing pro. Takarazuka Keenan is 2,200 meters. Let's make sure we get a 1st place here. I'm going to buy Swinging Maestro. And there's our 1st place. 4 links over Top Gun. Bite it, Top Gun. All you do is sleep in the anime anyways. That's how. 2 turns before the Kokura. Kokura Keenan. Let's see what we got here. Nothing good. We'll take a wit. We'll take the 38 to speed. All right, so stamina's looking decent. Our speed is lacking, but that is okay. We'll still have some decent turns coming up here. This is what I mean when we're going to be very reliant on our support cards getting the stacks. We'll do a ton of training with her, though. I'm going to do like a 3-hour live stream Hopefully tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully tomorrow. Schedule's been really weird with work, but we'll see. Let's just wait. We'll see how it goes. 39 to speed. Take it. We got charming, but it was really late, so it didn't really benefit us all that much. We'll throw that into wit. 51 stamina. Gotta take it. Time for a rest. Gotta get some energy back before that Arima Keenan, because after that we are headed to the finals. That's going into wit. We got a 28 into wit, so happy with that. All right, so we are headed into the Arima Keenan with some all right stats. I would have liked to have gotten quite a bit more speed at this point, but that is fine because it's luck of the draw when it comes to the support cards, you know? You can't always bank on getting phenomenal triple speed stacks, but you play enough and you absolutely will. And that is why we love this game. Here we go, URA finals. All right, and this is the end of the career. So obviously our stats are really low for the Libra Cup. Our stamina is pretty much where we want it to be. A little bit more luck with that and we would have been there. But the speed especially is very low. That being said, I think we only got one double speed stack this whole time and none late game. So it could just be a luck of the draw. We're going to be doing probably 10 more careers with this today. And ideally, we'll get a little closer to the stats. I'll make a little post on YouTube and X and Instagram if we end up pulling it off. Links in the description, by the way, if you want to follow me over there. But that being said, this is the build we're going with. We just got to get a more lucky with the RNGs, and we'll see how it plays out. We're also going to be building a Narita Taishin and a Super Creek for the upcoming Libra Cup, but I will leave those for another video. But I hope you got something out of this. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for all future content, and let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. I hope you had a good weekend, and hopefully this week goes by fast so we can go back to Friday. All right, man. Have a good one. Catch you later.